Is it working here? It's speaking. Speaking well. Good, good. Sorry. There, if you want to play along, they are all code with Windsurf, except that vibe code your first app now. If you can vibe code it in less than 20 minutes, a landing page, or anything you want, you win a code flag. You have about 50 or so. You can play with Dennis out there. You can just sign up. Those 6 computers here are ready for you to play. Okay? If you want to get started with that, this is the correct place and the correct time. Okay, and we are streaming. Okay, good. Without further ado, let's get started. Hello, everyone. Game on? Yep. Yay. Woo. Let's get started today with the opening remarks with Matt from Windsurf. Wonderful. Let me present myself. I'm Matheus Pagani, ambassador of Windsurf. Not officially affiliated with the company, but I can try and guide you to get started with everything you need. The first app, the first landing page, maybe the first game with Windsurf. And we have Dennis, which give, you might have met him at the check-in, unless you skip it line. He's going to give a great talk to you about designing and getting your app looking beautiful, UX, correct practices for you to elevate your vibe coding. And before we get started, I would like to introduce the official explanation from Ping. Official explanation from Ping. Yes. Okay, that was the official introduction from Bing. And I want to ask you a question before getting started. Have you ever used Windsurf before? Like, raise your hand. Okay, majority. That's interesting to find. Have you ever used any AI coding tool, Windsurf or any other? Most of you, it seems, right? Do we have any non-coder here? You too. Like, my question is like this: do you know how to code a landing page, HTML, CSS, this kind of stuff? Great. Can you use you today as a participant? Okay. What's your name? Joey. Okay. Joey is going to be my anchor. And someone technical that codes websites. Raise your hand. I might use you as a volunteer. You. What's the name? Graham. Okay, Graham and Joey, side by side. That's perfect. That was not the staging, okay? Not at all. Was it? So, I'm going to guide you through how to use Windsurf. I have it installed in my computer. If you don't have it installed yet, you want to try it out, again, there are those 6 computers out there, preloaded, a lot of threads that you can go there and use. And the whole point here is that somehow those LLMs, large language models, they are able to produce usable output for us to have web pages, apps, and systems, usable web pages, apps, and systems, even if we don't know how to code. Yeah, that rings a bell. Let me see how it would work out for us here today. If you already know how to code, this introductory part here of like setting up the project, get started the files might be a little boring, but let me ask a question to the audience here. How long do you usually take to code something out, even a simple landing page? More than half an hour? More than 1 hour? More than a couple hours? Just getting started with Git, uploading everything, doing the initial setup and all, right? No? Like, are you super fast? I have some examples. I can show, like, if we have time at the end, we can do a showcase. This is a tool that can either onboard you as a non-developer, or can speed you 10x, 20x, 50x if you are a developer, with a little asterisk, if you know how to use it. Okay? It's a tool, people. It's still designed and built as a tool. Don't be fooled or don't be misled by the promises that, like, you're going to do one prompt and click and you have the full website. You might have very cool things built after one prompt, but you're going to guide it with things like context, with information from MCP servers that you have, with the correct function calls, with the correct parameter parsing, prompt techniques. These are some very boring, right? Yeah, today we're going to put it all in a mixer and turn it out into vibes. This is what I call it vibe coding. Some people like this term, some people don't like it, whatever. It is what it is, regardless of how we call it. And we are going to start by chatting with AI. The first rule of vibe coding is that you don't start by coding, you start by vibing with AI, right? The technical explanation is that whenever you want to get the AI to do something correctly for you, you need to give it enough context. Have you ever heard about that phrase, context for LLMs? You gotta feel the correct prompt words in the prompt so the AI doesn't hallucinate and all. This is boring. This takes a lot of time. How do we vibe that out? We can just start by asking questions to the AI. I love this chat button here, because then you can ask the AI to produce the correct tokens for you, the correct information in the prompt. For example, I'm just going to type out something for the AI without explaining what I want to do. I want to build a landing page for my business idea. I didn't explain a business idea or anything like that, but strategically, I'm going to chat with AI with a reasoning model. For example, Gemini 2.5 Pro. You have access to these models for free here if you want to use those computers. This model is going to create like a chain of thought, speaking to itself before coding anything. So it's like your consultant, it's like your advisor, your guide on how to build a website. So the model is going to think on itself and it's going to ask you some questions. What's the name of the business? What product sets do you offer? Who your target audience? The correct question for you to fill in the context here. Okay? To prove that this was not staged, would you like to provide any business idea? Anyone bring hand? Can be anything? I'll try to boil it down and code it today.
An agency that provides AI enablement and creative for low tech literacy companies or startups.
Provides enablement for like education for. Okay. Let me train it a little, just for the sake of typing here. Do you want to give it a name? I gave you the name of AI Blobberish, okay? I hope you like it. An educational AI agent for. Do you want to put a niche like for finance? To finance consultants. Very good. For consultants, but you got the idea. I'm going to give an explanation of what I want to build. The AI is going to guide me to the correct explanation. What specific problems does AI already solve? What do you want in the landing page? Imagine you had the time to fill it all over and not just 20 minutes prompt demo, right? So you would fill that up, and then at the end, you would ask, in write mode, you switch it to write mode, you would ask, create a landing page for this business. Just like that. Is that technical? Maybe the term landing page. If you know that, do you know the term landing page? Okay, good. And that's it. We find it. Now the AI is going to think. Maybe it's not going to work, maybe it's going to work. We always need to cross our fingers. But yes, it's creating some files, index, XML, and styles, CSS, script.js, and it's coding everything for us. There is no human in the loop here. This is not being sent by a person working in another place in the world, you know. Saw something like this happening. This is actually going to use the LLM to spin up this code, put the code in the correct place. You don't need to know what the code is doing, what is happening or doing for now. It's great if you can know. Yes, it is great. But even if you are a non-coder, a marketing person, a designer, creator, whatever, you have here your website. It was coded for you. You don't need to know these tags, whatever is happening here. And Windsurf has a feature that only a small amount of those AI tools can do properly right now, that is creating a preview server for us, even without being a developer. I can just start a conversation, and then there is this button here of preview, and I can click on this button to start preview to see how my website is going. It's probably going to suggest to install a web server or something like that to serve those files. And we're going to be able to see that in my browser. Let's wait for a while. It's waiting and thinking and thinking. If you just install Windsurf on your computer and don't have those tools for running web servers, Node, Python, whatever, the agent is going to try and install these things on your computer too. You're going to see those errors and install. Of course, it's always good to review what is happening. Oh, it's going to run this command. Is that going to install a virus on my computer? I know that it's not, but if you're not technical, this is a place that you would ask your friend or Google just to see if that the agent is not hallucinating, is not poisoned, as we call it.
This is the point you should hire a developer.
Yeah, it's good, it's good. Like this is not going to replace development, right? It's maybe but maybe well, it is like you get my point. Maybe I don't get my point, but whatever. I'm going to open that in external browser, and this is the AI blobberish. This was not staged; we just created. Okay, how long did it take? Yeah, and that's it. I didn't like this join waitlist button. I wanted to make more flashy. So I'm going to select it here, like this form, and here, and I'm going to make this bigger. Like you would do for a developer that you hire. Hey, can you do this change here in the page? You don't need to know what are the lines in the page to change. You just need to express properly in plain English, and the AI is going to change that for you. If you do it correct, if you do the correct context, if you do the correct prompting technique and all. This is a very rushy demo. It's working very well so far, but you get the point. The more that you work with the AI, talk with the AI, create context about what you want to build, the better it's going to work here. And it's going to change the files that are needed, all of the proper configurations, and it's going to edit your website a few minutes more. Okay? You see that there are those thinking steps. After the whole process finishes, I can accept the changes, and look what is happening. Let me refresh that. And yes, it got a little bigger. A little. Well. What do you guys think about this? No, I didn't finish that. It is amazing. Like, and imagine that 5 years ago. Like Asian tech. Oh, you can make your computer create the rules. It's not like this is not like WordPress. WordPress can do that, this kind of stuff. Now. This is anything. We use a landing page here, but it could be creating a game, system, an app, whatever you think of. Do you want to deploy that? Do you want to show that to your friend, maybe? There is another option for that. If you don't know how to deploy apps, you can come here for this deploy option and click in the deploy button. Deploy. This little rocket here. The AI is going to figure out the configuration for your project. In this situation, it's just a vanilla HTML, JS, CSS, as we call it. There's no framework here or anything more complex. The AI should figure that out very quickly with this model. And it's going to integrate with Windsurf, with NetFly, to create that deployment configuration. And it's going to do all of the heavy lifting for me. I just need to create that deploy button, and it's going to generate a link. Let's wait for a little. App building, do it. It's going to deploy these hosting sets for us. We don't need to pay for the hosting or configure anything ourselves. We're going to have this website, aibloggerish.windsurf.io, and I can open that website. And here we have, maybe you want to try that on your phone, aibloggerish.windsurf.io. See if that is real. Maybe I'm faking it, you know, right? Want to try it out? How long did it take? About 15 minutes. Sorry, I forgot the name, bro. Who told it? Joey. Joey. You can deploy a website number. So, questions. What do you think about this tool? Would you use it? Do you have any questions about the model, about what's going on, about the agent flows, MCP? What do you think about the possibility here?
wonderful presentation. I have one question. Like a lot of projects do have already built. If we wanted to improve on the existing process, like you mentioned, WordPress or something already exists, can we do some kind of import and then diagnosis and then modification from here?
Great question. So about modifying projects. Remember I told about this thing called context. Have you heard about context for AI, the amount of information you put in the content, you know? This is a tricky part because whenever you put too much information, you get the risk of the AI getting lost. If you put too little information, the AI may hallucinate or come up with unexpected things. So, for example, that change that I asked for making the button bigger triggered a function call that will search for the code for that specific division, this specific ID that I asked the AI to change, and implemented the change very well. Imagine if I had 10,000 files there. It would be a little more tricky for the AI, right? There are solutions for that. You can index a database with vector stores. You can create information graphs inside the database to guide the AI. There are many techniques that can be applied, but they are more tricky. The things that I showed today would work very well if you happen to have a project starting from the beginning. Template, something from a boilerplate or something like that. If you try to do that on top of a big project, probably the vibes are not going to be that vibing. It's more going to be like rage coding at some point, but it can work well. Great question.
Yeah, you have to pass that mic. Only one of them is gonna work. Only your mic. Only your mic is loud. Oh, okay.
And so, what's like the most complex project you can build on this? What's the most like complex project you can build on this?
Well, if you use the correct techniques, you can build anything. It's just that it's like treading on a slack line. If you fall off, then it's more problems than you actually see. I have seen people using a lot of git flow for that. Like you open a pull request, like people do with the developer. You open a pull request, you create the test scenarios, you give a good definition, you create a PRD, a document and all like would guide the change. And then if they hallucinates, you just don't appear the pull request, no? But if you follow those practices, you can work on a big project. I have seen projects with more than like 10,000 lines of code and more, by coded is actually working and generating revenue and going on and on. We're going to see some demos later go. Mike, we're going to see some examples.
Can you make like machine learning models of this?
No, we can, but this is the thing. For example, we are building something with PyTorch, creating from scratch, gather data and all. Probably we're going to be running a series of functions, and those scripts can be vibe coded, yes, but mostly we're going to be running a process of training that we think on like summarization models. We're going to put that machine learning in there to summarize text. We're going to be running that over time in the GPU test, right? This is more for creating code, but you can vibe code this script that are going to create a model right now. Yeah, that you like create a lot of Python code with AI coding tools, and it can work out, you know. Do you have more questions? Hey, David. Listen.
You're going next, right? Ready? Let us finish the question.
Okay, do you have more questions? Oh, good. Thinking?
I have a question. There are multiple IDs, coding IDs available with AI agent. Right? So, what makes like Windsurf stand out from like maybe cuts or something like that?
Yeah, I've used a lot of those, like Replit, Lovable. I've used it Cursor a lot. I've used Windsurf, of course. I've tried all the B ones, the C ones, and all of those they have a feature more, a feature less. The combinations of features that I see in Windsurf that are like killer features is the preview right now. That cursor we can implement, like multiple implement, but it's all the preview process. We have like for example, if you want to Rapid, Lovable, all of those code bases, V0, Bold, now you have the live video there, right? But for you to code on the tool, it's more tricky. You need to download the GitHub, not all of them have the true side bindings. Windsurf has a preview here. They have it integrated. Cursor didn't launch. As far as the 0.5, the one that we just released yesterday, there is not a review. As far as I recall, they are working on that. I can't speak properly, but you can check it out, of course. But this is a killer feature. Deploying with one click too is something that you can do like with Rapid, with DC, or now very quickly you just deploy. With here you can deploy very quickly without being technical too. So for me, this is a killer feature from the founders. Good. The last question before Dennis. See, yeah, you have all of these options that you can pick that can provide different results, different thinking capabilities, and all that, different context language.
I have a different feature. If I were to go like architecture that is architecture that is in technical terms, which that is the simple app or anything, like using model or code memory. Something like that would
Yes, it's very possible. We're going to have an open mic after Dan's presentation, and we're going to see all the cool things that have been building with Intel. Like full apps, games, B2B, SaaS, this kind of stuff, and you can go over a lot. You know? There's something like days, if not weeks of coding. It works very well because, like I demonstrated, you can do a preview. The preview can do both of the front end and back end. Depending if you use a full stack like Next.js, using something that has a serverless functionality, will be all in one tablet. But if you're using like a Python backend and normal JavaScript content, or whatever you're using, you create code and password to it. That would work. So it's not like front end oriented like Visio. It's not like only back end like you would see some tools. It is really versatile for you to try any of these parts of your development cycle. You know? Yeah, there is a Discord community. Let me see if I find that real quick. Did you scan this QR code? Scan that, you're going to get the resources. And there is a Discord community with more than 100,000 people already. You could be one of those. Hey, that's you! That's it. That's here. So it's a great community. You can join the Discord and ask all of those questions there too. Okay? And we're going to have a presentation from Dennis now. I'm going to show all the good part of having a good UX, so really naming it, and advancing up the project to the next level.
Let me put this mic in your voice. Can you press the button or anything?
Yes.
Can you hold this for a second? Yeah. See if it's recording. Downstairs. It's funny.
Just
Good. That's good. Want to make it full screen? Whichever. Let me close this thing here. Close. Want to make it full screen? Wait, something's wrong. Yeah. Gotta come over that. I'm okay if it's also not. There you go.
Hey everyone, my name's Dennis. I'm a product designer. I started using Windsurf like November, December last year. Back then I was using more like Webflow, other no-code tools, but honestly I've completely replaced those with Windsurf. Webflow was my main thing, and I've actually been able to replace hosting costs as well with other third-party tools. So Windsurf really unlocked a lot of stuff for me and the clients that I work with. So I'm going to talk about how I approach this, mostly the UI, and really is more about building systems and not like individual components or just the UI. So my workflow, I really try to plan a lot ahead of time. I spend like a day or two on the research, the definition, building out PRDs, before I even jumping into design, documentation, or development. But for today, we're just going to focus on design, document, and develop. First, I use existing systems. This is a huge like leg up. One, you start in the design with an existing system, but you can also carry that through in development. There's things like Catalyst UI, as well as Preline Co. There are Tailwind-based systems that have libraries in Figma, and then you can just basically port that into the development with Tailwind CSS. There's also things like Magic UI and Shad CN that are like, I like to pull in specific elements, specific effects, things like that, but it saves a ton of time and it just keeps your designs aligned with what you're actually making. I use Catalyst. This is like the base of all of my design systems. If you want to make them more bespoke, you can go in and just adjust the tokens, adjust the values. Why? It's very closely aligned with Tailwind. It's based off of a Tailwind system. And I just found it for free on Figma. I really enjoyed it. And it has enough components that I can build what I want, but it's not overly prescriptive in that like I'm stuck to cookie cutters. JetCN is more like I'll use that more in development. I haven't found a good Figma file with that, but I'll pull in specific components that I like. Yeah, so it's for both. The other benefit of this is there's a lot of documentation written up. So when you're building your own system and you are giving things different naming, you don't have the documentation of how it's going to work, what it's supposed to do, how it's supposed to use. All these systems are well documented, so when you want a specific component or you want it to do a specific thing, it reads the documentation and knows what to pull in. Then, when I get into the design work, because I have a high fidelity design system, I can start in something a bit more cleaned up, a bit more nice. On the left here, I'll start building things in Hi-Fi. But before I go into the development, I'll break it down into the components, into the chunks. This way, I can kind of give what it's supposed to look like, but then actually how it's supposed to be architected. So both the UI and the UX. And this goes down to each individual section as well as each individual component. Then when I start, the first thing I start with is tokens. I think for developers, this is probably pretty obvious. If you're vibe coding, you might not start here. But if you can pass off things like, here's my primitive colors. Here's where those colors are going to be used. Here are my primitive styles. Here's the things that I want to apply to those different fonts. That's going to save you a lot of time. And then you can just tag the specific thing that you want. If you're using just primitives for naming things, like just the values of like border radius this, gap that, you're not going to be able to actually talk to the AI in a way where I'm like, this is the component I want to edit. When you're using semantic class names, you can talk to a specific item and you're talking the same language as the AI. The next thing is using live documents to keep things on track. The main two things that I have are a project plan. So after I create a PRD, I'll have it create a development plan. This has the different like statuses of everything, as well as sometimes I'll reference what things to look up. When you get to the stage, go read this document. The other thing that I do is a bug log. I am not great at debugging. So I'll create a bug log. So anytime I encounter an error, it adds that error in. Every time I resolve that error, it adds the resolution in. Before starting on any new scope, it always reviews the bug log. It knows how it's been solving things. If you hit another bug, it goes back and actually checks that again. So this keeps things on track in the sense that like everything is documented, the context is there, and I'm not necessarily even telling it, hey, go do this thing. I just say, what's the next step? Start with that. And rules and memories are really key to make this work. So hybrid class naming, those are all in my global rules. Use this kind of a system, break it down into 3 tiers. For automated documentation, I have a special prompt for every single thing there. Sometimes I'll even create a workflow. That's something new that Windsurf added, where you can basically set like a macro of different things to do. So I'll do like an onboarding macro. Hey, review all of these files, then start. And I just say at that macro, and it goes ahead and does that. So that's basically it. I don't have a demo to show you guys, but maybe next time I will. If you have any questions, happy to answer them now, or if you want to just catch me outside, I'm happy to talk. Social media? My LinkedIn, Dennis with Olive. My name's on the top right there. But yeah. Okay.
So I'm a part designer as well. I use workflow, so it's currently using Lovable and Windsurf. Have you used those or what's the difference between those two?
So I've actually been going through an AI course this week. I'm asking those other things like Lovable, Bo, A0.
I find that they give very consistent UI results, but that's kind of where it ends. The function is a bit more limited. When I'm trying to get into the code a bit faster, I feel a little restricted. Also, I mean, I like the token system that Windsurf has, so it kind of works with my workflow. But the main thing is I can define so much more with Windsurf from the start, and having all that initial documentation and the rules, they really kind of give me that same UI at the end. So if I wanted to just use ChatCN, use Tailwind, I put that in the documentation, it'll spit it out the same way. But when I want to quickly do something like having the preview tool, jumping into the code, doing edits in line in the actual document, not just in the chat, those are, I think, the kind of huge value add that you don't get with those tools. So it's really workflow related. If you want to just have vibe chats, like those tools are solid. But if you want to be like coding and getting into development, I think Windsurf has a big leg up. You can ask it to go and look up the documentation and pull it in. I will have some of my own documents where I'll pull that in and then I reuse it across projects, but it depends on the project. Yeah, you can copy paste. Yeah. There are connections. So there are MCP servers. Maybe we'll get into that in the next event. But it's basically you can connect to the back end of another tool, and it can actually do things in that tool, pull things from that tool. And it really, like with Figma, you could say, here's a link to my design. It'll pull all of the tokens. It'll pull the layout, and you'll start building off of that. Yeah, in the tool, the MCP. Yeah, so I'm going to be playing around with that a bunch this next month, and hopefully for the next talk, I'll be able to demo that.
Question. After creating all the artifacts, how do you maintain, or how do you feel about maintaining whatever insert IE resources? We have a block, and do you really read the documentation provides? How do you feel about it?
So maintaining, like, let's say the UI, once I have the base thing set up, I'll go into the code and I'll do it a bit more manually. I'll use the inline editor to make specific changes, like, hey, change the colors to this, and I'll just highlight it in the document and chat in the document itself. If I'm doing bigger changes, yeah, I'll go and use the chat. But with like the reading documentation, I try to get a good understanding of the base of it. And then when I come into something where I'm like, oh, I want to do a specific thing, I'll go read up on that thing. Or you can just ask Cascade, hey, I want to do this. Explain how you would approach this, or review the documentation. Tell me what I should consider. I think the way I use it is as a thought partner. So Cascade isn't just doing stuff for me. It's helping me think through things, helping me plan things out. And I'm probably not reading as much documentation as I should be, but I don't necessarily need to all the time. So it really depends on your project. I would say if you're getting more in depth beyond just a landing page, probably read more documentation. Yeah.
And
Yeah, so my experience in talking with some other product designers that kind of use this more in an enterprise setting, in my experiences working with other people, the way I view it is right now, I wouldn't necessarily want to be in the production code base doing these edits. I would do them on my own. I would do like individual prototypes and hand those off to a developer. So there's still a ton of work done that they can take, but it's not, I'm not taking the liability of making a mistake, implementing something. I think there still needs to be someone that really knows what's going on, especially something like fintech. There's security issues, there's a lot of liability. So I view it more as like a prototyping tool in that sense. I do think that as time goes on, there will be more positions and more people that are trained in integrating directly with the code base and production environments.
Just not the open business 1 minute. We're going to take a last question.
Any more questions?
I would like somebody to touch on where your code looks. When you send it to a model, in the function where you're sending it to the router. I'd like somebody to touch on that, and as well as what environments connect to the code.
Are you asking like where the code goes, what touches it, kind of that the exposure?
I'm asking a security question. The most important security is identify the use cases. You want your code to just live on your server, on your client, on your computer. But you're using most AI is the code source AI. You have to wrap it together. But what happens with the computer? And how do they actually handle these things?
I'm going to get this out of my face.
No, it's basically the same thing when you use ChatGPT or any other tool. You're sending this data over the web, right? So Windsurf is not changing that. It's still sending this all over the web. You add additional layers to it. This is more protection with side channels. What do you do with this?
Yeah, let me show
I
the
can
difference
send
again.
a prompt and I can intermediate to defend against a side channel attack.
For example, when I ask something like this, hello, this goes directly for the API connected to Gemini 2.5.
No. So Google will handle that and then you come back to you here. It's not like you're sending that to themselves or anything like that. No? They might do some processing in that direction. I'm not going to answer that correctly, like ambassador. But it's the same thing as you're interfacing with Gen 9.5 Pro. You are talking like it. The only way that you have that locally is that you run your own LLM, like using Olana, LLM Studio, whatever you want in your computer, and then you chat directly with it. It's open flexible adapter that you can route to your computer, and then you code and have it reach the web, right? And just to make sure you're not adding any additional security measures on top of this. So you're sending it directly. I'm putting their API directly on the technical. That's one of the things. And a lot of UI. Windsurf, it's AI-enabled coding development, right? Development environment. So the whole UI part here, it is what you get when you go on Windsurf, but the LLM itself, it's not running inside the Windsurf app. It is, I'm not asking that question. I'm asking this. There's no middleware between this interface. I'm sending one on the right prompts in here. I'm directly putting the APIs of the model providers. Is that correct? Yeah, as far as I can tell, there is no model provided here in Windsurf. So if you get the official answer, it would be outside as a question, we're not going to answer. Yeah.
I'm not from Windsurf, these are ambassadors from Windsurf, they don't work at Windsurf, so they're not going to be able to answer that specific question for you.
Maybe go for the story. Well, people, we're going to start an open mic now with all of the people that have been building with Windsurf in the past. If you want to come up here and show about what you have been building, you are more than invited. We're going to start with Lucas, building Kofo. Actually, Warp.
I'll tell you guys about it. Can you hear me? Is it on? Is the maybe it can I? I'll do it. I'll do
You
it.
need that too.
I need both. first time I'm like, hi guys, how are you? So I'm actually the founder of Cashbox AI. We're an AI native spreadsheet application for Wall Street analysts and financial analysts to save time, money, and headcount. How do we do this? We actually allow our agents or analysts to upload their proprietary Excel models into our LLMs. Our data is actually trained on it, and from there you can make real-time edits, changes, and queries in our chatbot within a spreadsheet application. So today we have an early version of the MVP that I'm gonna type in here just to show you a real application of actually using Windsurf to vibe code our entire MVP. And so you're gonna see that I've been testing this out under a different name called Warp Sheets. So you've got to log in. I'm actually going to log in here and create a username and password so you can see what we've actually been building. Now, let's do tester.
Because all vibe coding with Windsurf and similar AI tools might work as.
Yep, our backend is in Firebase, Google Cloud Platform. Use Claude Opus 4, their API key, plugged it into Windsurf. Combination of that and yeah. Okay, so actually we need to create a new account to sign up. Silly me. So here we go.
Demos are always like that. If you're ready to demo after Lucas, make sure you have some material ready and you can showcase what you have been building with Windsurf.
I'm the guinea pig and use me as a lesson. Here we go. So what you're going to see here is, and keep in mind, this is not a fully functioning app yet. It's hosted in production for our use only. If you want to create an account, send me an email, go to cashboxai.com. But you're seeing an early version of an MVP that we believe is going to change how Wall Street analysts function. I used to work at Goldman Sachs, and I'd stay until 3 in the morning, editing spreadsheets, making updates, doing scenario analysis. That was insane. Like, what if this rate hike happens? What if this rate hike doesn't happen? And now you can actually get all of that in Warp Sheets, and with an AI assistant right here in plain English, you can edit your LLM by asking simple questions, analyze data, build formula, write VBA code, and it's all trained based on your Excel. So you've got visualization, insights, customized keyboard shortcuts, discounted cash flow analyses, three-statement financial models, and all of this was done by coding. So you can do this to literally build whatever you want. This is live, off, and within 2 weeks, we're going to have something to actually show Wall Street. So keep that in mind as you're building with Windsurf. Rock on. Thank you.
Good, congrats. See, people, it's possible to build much more than landing pages. It's possible to build
yes,
more
thank
applications with that. Next, I'm going to invite Ellie.
What's the name of the version again?
Ellie built Soul Cipher from ground up with Windsurf. She's going to demonstrate that for you today. You're going to see how cool it is. Lucas, give me my mic. Thank you, thank you. Ellie, you want to put that in your Mac? Put the recording on the computer.
Oh, okay. Let me just find a website.
Who wants to present next? Raise your hand. Have you used the Meetup? We have one here. Who else? Raise your hand if you want to present here today. Anyone in the back? You want? You have something to present today? Yeah. Anyone else?
Yeah. Hey everyone, my name is Ellie, the founder of SoulCypher. We build interactive AI-generated TV shows, where you can play with the AI-generated content. So I actually have been experimenting across different formats. So today I'm going to demo this format that actually uses Windsurf to build our content. I'm also going to show you another show AI-generated TV show that's already live. So for this storyverse, the idea is we have an agent behind the scene that generates like interactive short form content, and this front end that I'm demoing here is entirely built on Windsurf, just by coding. Like I have enough technical knowledge, but I don't usually code myself, so I just like ask AI to code for me. Yeah, and then you can see like all these like cool visual effects. They're all done by with in Windsurf. So the idea for this product is you can like consume these kind of short form styles, short form stories with audios and images, and then like videos, and then they're all generated by AI. So, sorry, yeah. So, and then at the end of each chapter, you have different narrative paths that you can go to. For this one, we'll go to like the end of chapter 2, so you can see the narrative path. So yeah, you can choose to continue as the main story, or you can choose like alternative path. But yeah, everything that you're seeing here, I use Windsurf to code the front end. But the underlying kind of the story engine that's powering this, I mean, we have real engineers working on it. But yeah, I just want to show like this is really cool. I did it in less than a day for this front end. So like Windsurf is really powerful. Like I'm a big fan. And just on the company level, we have another show called AI Shark Tank, where real founders pitch live to a panel of AI judges. So this is like someone from Blockchain Capital. He agrees to let us train him, like his AI digital twin. So and then we have like shows where we live stream like every week for real founders to pitch live to these AI judges. So you can kind of see this is the format. Yeah, like these AI judges will also ask questions in real time for these founders to answer. So it's like real time human AI interactions that we're building for this format. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, man. And how long did it take to code the AI Shark Tank?
This one, it took the entire team about a month,
No?
but we built everything in Unreal Engine. So this one that you're seeing here, the 40-minute clip, it's rendered in one shot. So like all these animations, basically, it's a large animation library, and you would just cycle through different animations based on these AI judges' emotions. Um, so yeah, and then all these things stitched together, rendered in one shot.
So let me get that straight. One month to build something like that, and one day to build the front end of the story.
Storyverse.
Sorry,
Storyverse.
sorry first. So it's impressive, right? That answers your question. Like, it's not only for simple content, can be built for anything. Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
A pro vibe coder.
Gotta get your mic.
That's amazing. Who's next? What's his name again?
My name is
I am. Build the project?
Yes.
What project? Name?
Actually, I'll explain.
You have a website from which you present my computer?
I don't have a website. Actually, it's a wireframe and project live demo.
Oh, okay. Let me see how to Can you share that and send me a link?
Yeah, I can share a link to you. But in that case, I can't have the demo or the actual running application on your screen.
Okay.
It will be on my.
Because you're recording here, I don't know if I can like record on your computer. Maybe just talk
Before
to
that, maybe I'll share a link to you. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
How can I share that?
Yeah, it's quite long. Right? Oh, it's not. It is. Ah, it's not that long. Let me type it out. Oh, it is long. Shit. Send me by email. Okay. Your email.
You're setting up the link for.
Sorry, what's the name again?
Ayan. Ayan Kaifullah, you can say.
You're setting up the link for Ian to present that. Just give us a minute. I'll put it up here.
What's your neck in the meantime? Are you sure you sent it correctly?
Yeah. Let's see. MATHEUS @Venture Minor MINER. Okay, that's the problem.
Type it.
Send, yeah. It's fine.
Do you have internet there?
Yeah, I have written it. I already sent it. Maybe it will take 5 or 6 seconds for that.
Yeah. It didn't arrive yet. Sure it's sent?
Yeah, it's sent. You can see the name is also correct.
Okay, right. Yes. So you can start. Present yourself. I'll pull that up.
Yes.
Okay, you can start. Here it is.
Just trying to get yes. So, hey there.
Another demo.
I'm Ayan Kaifullah. So, what I'm showing today is my weekend project, which I done with using Windsurf. So, basically, my idea was to have some kind of video analysis system, like we have in YouTube Premium, when we can chat with the video, basically. So, I started with uh, the main thing, we can paste a video link and oh, oops. We can insert a YouTube link or upload a video to this platform. Then the AI, it will break the video into some chunks, and we are generating some embeddings. So what we can do in this process is So if we have a video, then basically we can go and ask questions like, okay, at what time, exact time frame we have a person sitting with the mic, or we can ask, okay, at how many number of times like we have a red car on the screen. So it will go and analyze the entire video, which is already divided and stored in chunks, and tell the exact time frame or exact the timestamp where this is going to happen. So this is some kind of example chat. So the idea of presenting this is I'm going to launch it as my startup within couple of weeks, which I completely started like building with Windsurf, completely vibe coding. So yeah, you can see, okay, these are the videos here, and once a video is loaded, we can go and chat about the video. Okay, you can see a sample question like at what time a person with mic is seen in the video. So it returns all the time formats or all the timestamps with exact chunk where it's stored, and like the response, like, okay, summary of the video and all things like that. Maybe I could have shown you a demo, but the demo is not live yet and it's not my system. So yeah, that's it. This is me. Thank you. Any questions you guys want to ask? You can ask.
Can you search like on which second the video, like whatever the speaker in the video actually tells an analyst in a reasoning manner what the speaker is saying?
We can search the entire video like at what time or at what moment a person is there, or there are two people in the video, or you can ask like, okay, which person is wearing a red shirt, like that. That would be which is like visual analysis of the entire video. You can ask all this. Uh, Initially, we have elements which only process on transcript or text stories, but using this thing, like, we can have all kind of visual information. So maybe suppose we have a researcher who is research on forest changes, having a video. So instead of watching a 5 hour long video, we can just ask, okay, at what time the fire has started, or something like that. No, what we are doing is we are dividing the time into small chunks, and those chunks are divided on the basis of time and topic. So we are first based on the transcript, we are analyzing, okay, one topic has ended and the second topic has started. At exact time frame, we are doing it, storing it in small chunks. All those chunks are being parallelly analyzed by the designer or automation. So it's like us in a 2 minute video, there are 60 frames. And the size of video grows, the number of frames. Any questions?
I have a question. How's Windsurf NY working so far?
So like the project I started, it's completely in Windsurf. What I did is like what idea I had, I went to Claude and told Claude to write a complete XML prompt, and I pasted the prompt in Windsurf, and completely like back and forth with Windsurf. I'm doing all these things like that.
Nice. So how long do you usually take for coding something like this with Windsurf? A couple of days?
It's like a week.
A week. Nice.
And it's already working, but I'm making it towards a production period application. So maybe one more week is needed for that.
Oh yeah, impressive. A month, a day, a week, a couple of weeks. A lot of things that you can do with Windsurf.
Exactly.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
You grab the mic.
Yeah.
Amazing. We still have a room for one or two more demos. People are finishing the demos. If you have finished the demo there, you can grab your code flags. You don't have to have more than the reception. You can look for days for that. And if you want to follow up with more information, check the Discord server and you can find the official support there. If you haven't already, make sure to scan this QR code and pull up all the information here. Here. Here, this is the page you're going to land into. Make sure to scan this QR code. You're going to get all the resources you need to get started. You're going to receive the credits from running the malls. You take the links to the community, the socials, join the Discord. You can follow up on the socials. Pay attention to the Google calendar for all the future events here in New York. I know that we have ambassador channels in Toronto, we have in Austin, a lot of places, might having other places in the future, can't announce anything, but it's really good to have this community growing. It was great to see all of you building with that here in New York. This is only the first of many of these events that we're going to do. And if you still want to try something out there are those computers, 6 computers preloaded with the licenses, all of the credits that you need for you to try during your first 90 days, the first app today. Okay? We're going to start a networking session now. You have about 20 minutes, get those connections, get part of the community, build something out with Windsurf, and enjoy it. You still have some food, drinks, make yourself at home. Thank you.
Hey, thank you everyone that attended online. This event was great. Wonderful.